Good morning, everyone. This is Mark Raymakers with Insurance Agency Marketing Services. I want to thank you for taking time today to join us on this unique single premium life type product with National Guardian Life. This is the Funeral Trust and Estate Planning Trust webinar. And we have a real treat today. We have John Enting with us. He's a top producer of ours, both on the life and the annuity side, as well as a top producer for National Guardian Life. And he is a producer in the field. He's taken time out of his day to help us this morning. He introduced a product to us several years ago, and we've seen nothing but success since then. And so you're in for a real treat. I thank you for taking time here today to join us. This is a recorded webinar. So when we're done here this morning, you'll have a chance to review it, familiarize yourself with the product a little bit better. And of course, the question box is open, so you can put in a question anytime that one comes to mind, and we'll go ahead and address those as we go. John, thank you for taking time with us here this morning.
Thanks for having me, Mark. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. We're going to go ahead real quick here, and I'm going to go through a few intro slides. I want to tell you a little bit about us, what we can do for you, the producer. And so we'll buzz through these. I'm going to have a few poll questions, and our first poll question is really just to kind of gauge some interest, as well as to obtain some information from you, especially this one here. We're going to talk about our Life and Annuity Training Academy. This is something that we've been doing for years. We find this to be a great way for advisors such as yourself to increase your life and your annuity production. And a lot of times what we're doing is we're also introducing new sales on the other side of the fence, so to speak. So if you're just writing annuities, it's an opportunity for you to incorporate life insurance in your sales and vice versa. So what we have here, we have speakers coming from across the country to do this training with us. And we do a Wednesday evening, a full day Thursday, and a half a day Friday in training. The nice part about this is it's free for you. We cover the cost of the airfare, we cover your meals, we cover your lodging. So there's really no expense to you other than the time you spend out of your office. But I will guarantee you that that time out of your office is very well spent. I've never heard an attendee yet say it wasn't worth their time. In fact, the common thing I hear is this is the best training event they've ever attended for agents who've been in the field for 10, 20, 30 years. So this is a great opportunity to learn about what's happening with DOL, obviously. We've got your back. We got you covered. We can help you with that, and we'll go through some of those things in this training. John will actually be there, our co-host today. We also have other advisors that will come in, and they'll talk about how they've become so successful in some of their sales, their marketing, their seminar trainings as well. So this is not a product-driven training. This is more about concepts. What can you do to grow your business, not only working with your existing block to uncover opportunities, but what to look for and how to get in front of more potential buyers in the future. So this is really a great opportunity for you also to be just visiting one-on-one with some of the other producers that are very successful in this industry. Now, by marking yes, what you're doing is you're telling me that you're interested in knowing more. It doesn't mean you have to attend, but we have 2 more events scheduled for the year, and that's it. So with that said, we have one scheduled in September, I believe second week of September. And then we also have one in November, which would be the first week. And so just by marking yes, what you're telling me is you'd like to know more information, that you'd like us to email you an agenda as well as an invitation. And then you can complete that, and we'll get you some additional information out. So just mark yes real quick if you want to know more. If you are interested in attending either one of those events, we'll certainly keep you on our email communications so you know what's happening. And great response. Appreciate that. Now everybody's chiming in here. So that's what I was hoping to get, at least 75% of you weighing in one way or another. That way I know that we're obviously hitting home there. And, one real quick thing before I close the poll, I've heard years ago the best investment you really make is in yourself, especially in this business. And so by getting more training, it's going to obviously help you to help your advisors. And I will say the most successful advisors in this industry never stop learning. That is a fact. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and close the poll and move on. If you change your mind and you want to know more about the training, all you need to do is call our office here, which is 800-255-5055. All right, so for those of you, I see that there are some new names on here today. If you're a new producer with us, what we do is we reward you with kind of a onboard thank you for your business kind of bonus. And here's what we do. We do a 3-tier approach. If you decide to take advantage of either one of these, there's no opportunity to claim another prize in the future. But the first level, we're going to base this today on utilizing dollar for trust. But if you write annuities, it's dollar for dollar there. Single premiums, dollar for dollar. When you look at traditional life, target premium is a fraction of that. So, for example, if you write $100,000 in trust business, What happens is you have a choice between $750 in cash, or you could choose this 2-year subscription to a website newsletter service. For those of you who don't have a website, we can get this up and running for you one business day. If you want to purchase that, you can certainly do that. Just call and ask for Josh in our office. He'll get you up and running there. Or lastly, you could take advantage of a free iPad. I know a lot of companies are going towards that or electronic application. And with the iPad, it's simple. You're not carrying a bunch of forms with you. You don't have to worry about leaving one back at your office and coming back. It's all there on the iPad. You might want to wait till you get to 300,000 level. Here's an opportunity for you to take advantage of the full Social Security program. There's a 3,000-piece postcard mailing that goes with that. This requires a little bit of study on your part to learn Social Security, but it's a great way to get in front of a lot more potential senior buyers. And if you opt not to earn it, you can certainly buy into that as well. You can call our office and ask for details there. Or there's the $2,000 matching marketing money to promote your business, or a $1,500 gift card to choose. Do as you choose. And then lastly is a 500,000 level. We've got 2 different seminar opportunities for you here. The first is a 5,000 piece. That is seminar coaching with Matt Gill. And there's a 4,000 piece mailing and seminar coaching with Dave Pimper. I will let you in on this, that both of these gentlemen are at our academy that we have in September and November. So you get a chance to see how they do theirs. You can either earn this, or of course you could buy into it. I will tell you that these 2 gentlemen are phenomenal what they do as far as seminar sales. They qualify for our top trips. In fact, I know they qualify for multiple trips a year based on their seminar and their sales. So obviously with DOL, that's going to change things a little bit as far as qualifying for trips. But the point is, you're going to get in front of more people. You're going to make more sales, and that's what that's about. So take advantage of either one of those 2 or the Ritz-Carlton Travel Rewards and make your own personal getaway. Okay, now, obviously we are big on trips. We've been doing this for years, and this is called our Top Producers Escape. And this is going to be at the Boulders next year. The trip dates are February 25th through the 28th. And anything that you write with us all qualifies you or gets you towards qualifying you and a guest towards that particular trip. So if you look at the bottom there, you see any type of business that you write. Now, for those of you that are paying attention to DOL, that looks going to come across a little bit differently as far as qualifying for trips. And again, if you're not familiar with what's happening with the DOL, you can certainly give our office a call. We can give you an update what's happening there, and or go to our website. There's also some information on there. But we would love to see it, our Top Producers Escape next year at the Boulders Resort and Spa with you and a guest. All right, and then our creative services side. This is important. I know there's a lot of you out there that don't know where to go, don't have a place to go, or have never done anything to brand yourself or to do any real creative type of advertising. We can do that here for you. You can see anywhere from just the basic logo all the way up to television advertisements. Our team here can do a great job. They can really help you in a number of different areas with the advertising. So call and ask for Josh. He will get you set up there. Again, that's our creative services side of our business. And then our IAMS Wealth Management. So I don't know if you've gotten your 65 yet or if you're thinking about it, but we can help you with that. We can reimburse you for the expense of that. So that's nice. John just recently completed his. And obviously it takes some time. But here's the nice thing about that. When you are set up with our IAMS Wealth Management department here, you're going to see an increase in revenue because not only because of the fact you're going to be able to offer more to your clients, but there's a lot of other things that come along with that. So whether you're managing money or not, if you're dealing with qualified IRAs, things like that, qualified accounts, it's an opportunity for you to take more of a holistic approach. And by doing so, obviously, you're going to increase your revenue. It also improves your client retention. The more lines of business, the more types of products your clients have with you, the more likely they are to stay with you, which is great. That really fends off or wards off other advisors to come in and try to take them away. It really builds the client relationships. And so what I'm going to do real quick here, the quicker we can do this, obviously, the quicker we can move on. I'm just going to throw a quick poll up here for you. If you would mark yes or no. Yes, if you would like our IAMS Wealth Management company to give you a call. They will visit with you about what we can do to help you, obviously, to be more DOL ready, to help you to get your Series 65, to answer any questions that you may have as it pertains to that. But the nice thing is you could run all of your business through us here. And from what I've seen, that when you run that through our grid, the commissions are phenomenal compared to what's out there. So it's really an opportunity for you to maybe kick the tires a little bit, see what we can do for you on this side. So if you want us to call, just mark yes, and I will have someone from that department give you a call. Otherwise, if you want to just jot down this phone number real quick here after you've marked yes on the poll, it's 888-255-67 7670. And someone will give you a call here as well. So, okay, great response. I certainly do appreciate that. Obviously we want to help you with your business, and this is a great way to do it. And I'm going to close the poll here right quick here. Again, if you change your mind, you want to call, just dial that 888-255-7670. Okay, that does it for me at this point. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn this over to John. John, again, thank you so much for taking time out of the field to help us here this morning. And now the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mark, and good morning, everybody. Happy Father's Day weekend, all you fathers out there. And we're also celebrating the first week of the implementation of the DOL rule. So however you celebrate that moving forward. But today what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the National Guardian Life Funeral Trust and how we get that funded for our clients. I'd like to let everybody out there know that I do run an agency. I've been doing this since 1987. I am in the field every day seeing clients. I do seminars for a lot of my prospecting, not for this product, but for overall financial planning. But we do pick up a lot of our new clients through this opportunity with National Guardian Life and through our system of using the seminar to meet new people. But what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about the opportunity that exists with National Guardian Life. We'll talk about the trust that we use to fund once the product's been funded. We'll talk about the product itself. We'll talk about some presentation ideas and tools. And then we'll talk about the company National Guardian Life, which you'll never hear me say a bad thing about. I've been doing business with them now for about 13 years. And everything that they've ever done or told me has come to fruition. So we really like that anytime we're dealing with the company. This opportunity was actually brought to me about 13 years ago from a friend of mine that's in the business. At the time, I knew nothing about National Guardian Life or about a funeral trust. But he told me, he said, it's like anything else. If you start implementing it into your business, he said, one day you'll be an expert at it. And lo and behold, here we are 13 years later. We've had a lot of successes with it, a lot of production with National Guardian Life. So it was an opportunity, but an opportunity is only good if you act on it. If you don't act on it, then it's a missed opportunity. So today, my goal is to share my story with you, put you in a position to be able to offer this to your clients and have you become the expert in it as you go along. So we all know we're in the planning business, whether you're selling annuities or Medicare supplements or life insurance. It's all about planning. It's all about motivating your client to understand that things don't just happen, that you have to consider what your options are and you have to put a plan in place, and then you have to fund that plan to make it work at some point in the future. So what we'll do today is we'll talk about funeral and final expenses because they aren't any different. Someone's going to need to determine the services and pay the bill when someone passes away. And the question becomes who and when. So there's two choices there, and they're pretty basic. The first one is the deceased prior to their death can get their affairs in order and make it very easy on their family, which I'll show you how this National Guardian Life product plays right into that. Or it can be the survivors afterwards, and I can talk about this pretty diligently because my mom and dad divorced when I was 2 years old. I wasn't real close to my father. I'm the youngest of five. I've always been a businessman, an entrepreneur, so my family always kind of looks at me for answers to things. And my father passed away on January 21st of 2011, and I found myself sitting in a funeral director's office, and the funeral director was asking me a lot of questions that I didn't know answers to, like what was my dad's mother's maiden name? What was his highest rank in the military? What was his favorite flower, his favorite hymn? How did he want his burial to go? I didn't know any of the answers to this because we weren't that close. And what it made me realize is that all this planning I've been doing for my clients with this product over the last 13 years has a lot of value to the loved ones when that person passes away. In other words, if my father would have had his affairs in order, like I help people get their affairs in order, it would have made my situation a lot easier to work with. So with National Guardian Life, they offer a couple different choices. You can plan and pay for the funeral, which is what we call pre-need. That's where you go into a funeral home, pick out your casket and the things that you want, and go ahead and pay for them. Or you can set money aside to pay for the anticipated final expenses and stay in control. And we'll show you how that works and why we think it's better to do it with National Guardian Life than to go into a funeral home and prepay your funeral. So how much does a funeral cost? Our clients ask us this all the time. I've been doing this so long, I usually have a couple clients a month that pass away, and I always ask their loved ones, what was the cost of the funeral? And we hear anything here in Ohio from $13,000 to now up to about $16,000 just for a basic funeral service. So, you need to convey that to your client, because believe it or not, a lot of your clients still think funerals cost $7,000 or $8,000, and the fact of the matter is they're way off base. So we want to educate them on what the cost of that funeral is. And then we'll talk a little bit about what the opportunity is for you as an agent. In a national survey, 72% thought it was a good idea to pre-plan their funerals, but 64% had not taken any steps to do so. Like I said, I'm out in the field working with clients. Your clients aren't any different than mine. The difference is that we talk to our clients about it, and we help motivate them to get them to put the plans in place. So we all know this market that we're in is huge. The numbers tell us over the next 20 years, 80 million people are going to file for Social Security. That's about the time when people start, thinking that, hey, I should probably get my affairs in order. I'm probably not going to live forever. So, I will tell you that you're in the right marketplace for this. Becoming knowledgeable on this product and being able to explain it to your client and offer it will certainly provide you with a nice income stream going forward into the future. The one thing that we talk to our clients a lot about is the fact that 92% of all Americans don't have any type of nursing home coverage. And then we want to explain to them that 69% of the ones that are older than 65 are going to need some type of nursing care. And then we'll explain to them the cost, which is about $68,000 to $78,000 a year. Now, why is this important to go over this with your clients? Because if your clients are in that 92% that don't have any type of long-term care insurance, what will happen is if they're single, then they have no protections at all. If they go into a nursing home, they're going to make them spend every dime until they are broke. And then once they're broke, they're going to qualify for what they call Medicaid. Now, if you're dealing with a married couple, there are some protections in there for the stay-at-home spouse. They're very easy to learn and understand. I see we have a lot of people on this webinar, so I'm sure they're from different states. If you would, take time to Google what your state's rules are on a married couple and what assets they can keep when one of them goes into a nursing home, because we touch on this a lot with our clients, because we know that many of the people we deal with, if they go into a long-term care facility, they're going to have to try to qualify for Medicaid, and this program is great for protecting a portion of the assets from that nursing home spend down. So how does this all fit together? What we're going to do is we're going to take the financial protection of life insurance, we're going to combine it with an irrevocable funeral trust, and then what we're going to do is allow those clients to set money aside for their final expenses. And by allowing that trust to hold the money for the funeral expenses, your client is effectively spending down that asset, which will help prevent that money from being counted as money that has to be spent down at a nursing home during the Medicaid consideration. And as we get deeper in the weeds here, I'll explain to you how a lot of the instruments that they currently own financially, how they don't understand what effect that has if they need to go into a nursing home, and how we can help them to prevent from losing a portion of those assets. So we'll talk about the trust themselves. If anyone's ever talked to an attorney about a trust and you tell them that you'd like to get a trust set up for a client, you're going to hear numbers anywhere from $2,000 to $6,000. The nice thing about the irrevocable trust with National Guardian Life is they're absolutely free. So we're going to get protection from creditors, protection from Medicaid. The benefits are going to pay out income tax free. The funds are available immediately. The trusts are free. Everyone qualifies for the program. So if you are talking to a client and you can motivate them to do one trust, you know you're going to get it issued. The death proceeds are going to be used for the funeral expenses, so there's no probate or delays on that. And a real key thing here is the funds are totally portable. And what I mean by that is if you go prepay at a funeral home, you're locked into that funeral home. What happens if your kids move to Florida or you decide you want to retire and move to Florida and you're locked into that funeral home? The nice thing is if you put your funds away through the trust plan, it doesn't matter what funeral home you want to go to. If you never move and you want to use the funeral home locally, you can do that. But if life throws you a curveball and you end up moving, maybe the funeral home you're dealing with goes out of business, they get new ownership, you don't like the people running it, these funds are totally portable and you can use them wherever you feel fit for your funeral. So on the next slide here, we'll show you how the funeral trust compares to traditional savings instruments. So I'll let you just take a moment to ponder that. But the main thing here is if you look down at the irrevocable funeral trust, you're going to see there that across the board, we're getting yeses in every column that we're looking to get a yes in for the product. So the next question would be, well, how does all this work? So really all we're doing is we're selling the client a life insurance plan. The life insurance plan is going to be guaranteed to be issued. They're either going to be standard or guaranteed. But what we're doing, it's not like a traditional single premium life. To give you an example, if you were to put $15,000 into a traditional single premium life and the people went through the phone interview and the underwriting, they may get $20,000 or $25,000 worth of death benefit. With this plan, it doesn't work that way. We're going to put the money in. If we put $15,000 in, we may get $15,500 as a starting point. But what will happen at that point is the policy is then going to be assigned to the irrevocable funeral trust, and the death benefit is now going to grow. So it's going to be assigned a growth interest rate. The money in there is going to grow. The funds are going to be tax-free interest until the time of need. When the money comes out, it comes out 100% tax-free. And the real interesting thing here is, I'll give you an example of a client's father who just passed away. She called me. She said, hey, my dad passed away. I asked her to give me the name of the funeral home. I called the funeral home. I got the person who handles claims. I got the fax number for them. I called National Guardian Life and I said, hey, I've had a client pass away. Here's the funeral home's fax number. And what happened at that point is National Guardian Life now deals directly with the funeral home. I'm out of the loop, and the funeral home is paid within 48 hours of filing a claim. Now that's important because we all know if we're filing a life insurance claim, we got to get a certified death certificate, we got to get the claim paperwork, we got to meet with the client, we got to forward it to the insurance company, they have to do their due diligence. Sometimes it's 2 weeks to a month before we see any money from a traditional life insurance plan. This one here, we know the money's going to be paid to the funeral director. Because we are putting it into an irrevocable funeral trust, any excess funds have to be paid back to the estate. And the reason for that is we've excluded it basically from Medicaid because we've given up ownership and we're letting the trust own it. So any excess funds will go back to the estate of the insured. So there's two different types of trusts with National Guardian Life. The combination between the two trusts cannot be any more than $100,000 per person. So when we look at the funeral expense trust, I'm going to talk about Ohio because that's where I'm at. There's a $15,000 maximum that we can put into a funeral expense trust. The ability to help exclude it from Medicaid and SSI when applying immediately. So we can write this on a client. Matter of fact, we just did it. The client's wife is in a nursing home. We never had to meet her, never saw her. We know she's in the nursing home. We put $15,000 into a plan, and it immediately got it off of the books for them. And we were able to ensure the spouse, the at-home spouse, signed for her on the plan, but we are able to do it. So even if you have clients who are in a nursing home and they're spending through their assets, you can certainly use this plan to help exclude some of the money. The trust, again, will pay the funeral cost. Any excess will go back to the estate. And then we have what's called the NGL Estate Planning Trust, and this is where you can pick up your bigger dollar amounts. It'll accept up to $100,000, and what happens there is once the money's in there, after 5 years, then the money is 100% excluded from any type of a Medicaid or SSI spend down. So what you've basically done is you've protected it. Even if the client goes into the nursing home, spends every other dollar of their assets, this money is going to be there for the client. Again, if you don't have a funeral trust, let's just say you've put the whole $100,000 in the estate planning trust, you can get the funeral expenses paid one of two ways. Either NGL can pay the funeral trust or pay the funeral expenses out of this trust, with the balance going back to the beneficiary of the insured's estate, or if that family was paying for the funeral some other way, as long as we provide National Guardian Life a copy of the funeral's been paid for, then they will ship the whole $100,000 plus interest to the beneficiaries of the insured. So the question I normally get next is, when do I use which trust? Again, the funeral expense trust is great for crisis planning. Maybe you have a single individual who, Medicaid's very possible within 5 years, so they're either at home getting home care, spending through their money, or they're in the nursing home. That's a great way to take $15,000 and to get it off the books, because face it, if you don't, it's going to go to the nursing home. So why not get it protected? Or a lot of times we'll get clients who say, hey, look, I just want to put $15,000 away. I want to know my funeral expenses are taken care of, and I just want to get it done now. Great tool for that. Now, on the estate planning trust, a lot of times Medicaid's a non-issue, so they're healthy. They're not looking at it now, maybe not even 5 years, or maybe never. But they do want to transfer some limited amount of wealth to their children or their charities. The estate planning trust, they can put that $100,000 in there. It's going to get interest credited daily, and then that money after 5 years is 100% protected from a Medicaid spend down situation. So a great way to protect wealth, and that's really the real opportunity with these programs. If you want to pick up the bigger ticket, is to focus and talk to people about that estate planning trust. But again, don't lose sight that the funeral expense trust, because it's a smaller amount of money, we do a lot of those because the clients are like, well, yeah, let's put the $15,000 in there and know that's protected and get my affairs in order. So the product itself with National Guardian Life, it's called the National Guardian Life AssetGuard. I will tell you, I've been in a couple discussions with National Guardian Life here over the last month. They are not, they don't feel that the DOL is pertinent to this product right now. So they are not making any changes, no required forms. We can go ahead and sell the program the way that we have been doing it. It's just a fixed rate life insurance product. So in other words, it's going to earn interest on it. We're going to put it into the funeral trust. So we're going to give them that increasing death benefit, but we're also going to give them the protection that the asset will be there when they need it the most, and that's when somebody passes away. So I know we got people all over the country on here. So the next page will show us some of the individual state limits. So depending on what state you're in, this will kind of show you how much you can put into a funeral trust. And if you take a look there, you can see the estate planning trust. there's 100,000 in all those columns. Now, the reason I'm going to point that out to you is there's two important things on this sheet. If we look at Pennsylvania, Pennsylvania is based, it says on city, but it's actually county, so I guess it could be the same thing. But with Pennsylvania, the amount you can put into a funeral trust is based on the county that you live in. So your National Guardian Life can certainly help you get that number if you are in PA. But what I get a lot of questions on are people from Texas, people that live in Florida, and they'll call and say, hey, you know, we can't do the funeral expense trust. It's not available. Well, that's true, but you can still put 15,000 into the estate planning trust all the way up to 100,000, but we'll talk about 15,000. So say you have a client says, hey, I just want to get my funeral expense money put away. I know you don't have a funeral trust here in Florida. Well, that's okay. Let's still go ahead and put that money into the estate planning trust, because at least after 5 years, the money's protected. If that money's sitting in a current life insurance policy or in a CD at the bank, and you get sick and go into a nursing home, they're going to make you spend that. So if you're in a state where you can't do the funeral trust, just use the estate planning trust. Just help the client understand that it's a 5-year look back, not a day one protection of that money, but you can help them accomplish the same goal. You can move through the next one, Mark, if you would. This is what's always asked us by agents, is what expenses are paid for by the Irrevocable Funeral Trust. So as you can see on there, just about everything that you would want to get paid through a funeral is going to be covered under the funeral expense trust. So there's nothing in there that we can't help you get paid for. What we're going to talk about today, for the sake of time and because it's the only thing that we do in our practice, is we do single pay. So with a single pay policy, we can do anywhere from $500 to $100,000. We can offer our client a growth rate up to 2.25%, and there's only one health question on the application. If they answer it and they're in good health, they're going to get standard. If they're not in good health, they're going to get guaranteed. The fact of the matter is, we're going to get the contract issued for the client and for the agent. Single pay, you can write them anywhere from 0 to 99 years old. So there's no limitations basically on the age that you can write for the client. And the nice thing is, with the one health question, it makes it simple for everybody. We know that we're not spinning our wheels. We know that we're going to get the policy issued for the client. And then again, all single pay and standard issue pay are immediate full death benefit. So if your client puts money in there and 6 months later they die, whatever that value is plus the growth is going to be paid out as an immediate full death benefit. So other product features, I think, Mark, yeah, we can consider this a feature. It couldn't be easier to do. 2 pieces of paper and you're done. I always like to tell the story that when I did my first annuity application back in 1993, I was in a dry cleaners in Marion, Ohio. I wrote a $25,000 annuity. The application was 3 pages, and the last page was the receipt. So to put that in perspective, if you're annuity producers out there today, you know it's a 30-page document now just to get your business done. With this one here, it's 2 pages and your state replacement form. So in 15 minutes, you'll be through the application with the client. If you don't like paperwork, it's a great product to utilize. Here's the first page of the application. It's pretty simple. You can see the health question on there. It's yes or no. So at the bottom of that, you're going to see down there where the client is going to sign, and you're going to sign off as well. The second page to it is going to be a receipt that you can leave with your client if you've picked up cash. So that I'd always encourage to pick up cash. You can leave that with them till you get the contract in. And then you're going to have this assignment form. And what this says is that we understand that we've bought a life insurance policy. that 45 days after the issue of the policy, that National Guardian Life is going to transfer that policy into the irrevocable funeral trust. That word irrevocable is very important. You need to tell your client when they do this, it's irrevocable. It's only coming out when you die. We can't make any changes to it. Don't call me to borrow money. Don't call me to cash it in because you need money. This only comes out at death. Now, I've been doing this for 13 years. I've never had a client call me and say, hey, I need to take a loan or cash my policy in, because I'm very vigilant on telling them this is irrevocable. Now, if it goes in 45 days after issue, what happens if you have a client who is in the nursing home and they're just spending money like crazy, and you need to get that money in that trust the first day it's issued? You can sign at the bottom to make this irrevocable assignment effective immediately. And so what will happen is National Guardian Life will issue it, and they will put it in that trust immediately to protect that money for the client. You just need to get the bottom filled out down there and get the extra signature on it. Pretty simple process. So when you're presenting it to the clients, that's really where the rubber is going to meet the road. And so the first thing that we tell the agents who become newly issued is to learn the product, obviously, get a good handle on what you're talking about, and then implement it into your annual reviews immediately. And the reason I say that is when you do an annual review with a client, typically that client knows you and trusts you, and you're more comfortable with them. So it makes the presentation a little bit more comfortable for you. You got maybe a little room for error there. So, you know, we'd always tell you, present it to your current clients. I've been doing this program for 13 years. I have never once ever ran into someone in a client's house, whether it's a new client or an existing one, that has said to me, hey, somebody has talked to me about this already. It is not being done, and it is a great opportunity for you as the agent to fill a need for them that no one's talking to them about. So you're going to present the funeral trust funding. We always stress the benefits of planning ahead. You know, for me, I have a personal story that really hits home. We always tell them that it can be used with any funeral home. You can Google in your area funeral homes that have went out of business. You will be shocked to read the stories about people who have walked away with pre-need money, that people have went into a funeral home and prepaid their funeral, that money is no longer there anymore. So, you know your area and be able to share a story like that with a client. It hits home with them. And then one important thing, which we do a lot of business with, we just did this with a client yesterday. Many of your clients don't understand that if they own a life insurance policy and they have cash value and death benefit, that when they die, only the bigger number goes to the family. Let me give you an example of a case we did yesterday. Clients had $10,000 in cash value. They had $12,000 in death benefit. And what we explained to them was that if they went into a nursing home, the first thing that Medicaid is going to make them do is spend their life insurance cash value. So what we were able to show them was, yes, we're giving up $2,000 in death benefit, but we're protecting $10,000 of cash, which is their cash value in their policy, because the reality is they only have $2,000 worth of life insurance. The other $10,000 is their own money that the insurance company would pay them at death. So we do a lot of 1035 exchanges. On old paid up policies, we will call the company and put them on speakerphone with the client, find out their cash value and their death benefit. Really important to ask if they have any existing loans so you don't cause a problem with them. But the other area that we've been picking up a lot of money lately is these old universal life policies where your clients are watching those cash values go down. They're going to lose everything, guys. They're going to lose their death benefit. They're going to lose the cash they have remaining. Why not be the hero and step in and say, hey, look, you can see this is going down every year. You're going to lose this. Let's preserve what you have. We can show you how to 1035 this into a program and protect the money so that you know it's there. So we do a lot in that 1035 exchange, and I'd encourage you to look at all your old clients' old policies, because you can really be a benefit to them. And then, of course, we only get paid when we close the sale, but you are going to give that client the peace of mind of knowing that they've planned ahead and that their funds are protected. So where do we find the money? The money's out there everywhere. You're not trying to recreate the wheel here. You're going to ask your clients a simple question. Have you prepaid your funeral? If your client tells you no, they haven't, then you're going to, next question is, well, where's the money going to come from to prepay that funeral, or to pay the funeral when you pass away? And they'll tell you, I've got a $15,000 CD that I've told my daughter is earmarked to take care of my funeral. Well, doesn't it make more sense to get that money protected if that's your goal with the money anyway? Why leave it in the bank at low interest rates and leave it susceptible to a nursing home when we can put it into this program and guarantee it'll be there when you need it the most, which is when you pass away? Money market accounts, other insurance, that's the old policies that we can 1035. 10% penalty-free withdrawals from annuities are a great way to fund these. Investment accounts, savings accounts, cash. The real thing is, when we talk to our clients about this, we tell them that, in theory, we're really not even buying anything. What we're doing is we're repositioning current assets that we know we're going to use to pay for our funeral and getting them protected while we can. So when you're working with National Guardian Life, they have some really great sales materials. The two that we use the most are flanking that Understanding Medicaid, so the Estate Planning Trust and the Funeral Trust. And these are all made available to you once you're licensed with National Guardian Life. You can have them imprinted with your company information, but they're just trifolds, and they are so to the point that the case we wrote yesterday, the 10,000 that we picked up on the 1035 exchange, we gave that to her a week ago, that trifold, and we just said, hey, read it. We always like to do things while they're fresh in our mind. We'll follow back up with you on Monday. We followed back up. She set the appointment. Wendell, the gentleman that works for me, went out and picked that deal up last night. So again, these will help you in your sales process, and they have a lot of other materials as well on their website to help you also. And then the company itself, they've been around for a long time. They do a great job of servicing not only the agent but the client. You can see there, take a little bit of a peek at their financials. So we're dealing with a company that we know is going to be there, and it's going to be there when we need them the most, and that's to pay the claim. So once you're licensed, you'll have access to the myngllic.com website. And the nice thing about that is anything that you need, you can go on there. It's very friendly for agents. You can do everything from your marketing pieces. They have PowerPoint presentations that you can use for clients that are approved, that you can use in a small group setting in a senior community. So a lot of things to help you be successful. But the real important thing here is that 1-800 number. That team is always there to help you. They're very knowledgeable. You could be in with a client, have a question, pick that phone up right there and call in, and they'll get it answered for you. They want you to be successful, and they do a great job at making sure that the agent's taken care of. So why sell the product? Every one of your clients need it and are thinking about it. We showed you what that study looked like. It's funny because when we talk to clients and we say, hey, have you prepaid your funeral? Sometimes you'll hear from them. They'll say, well, no, we haven't, but we're going to go down to the funeral home and do that. But what we really find out is very rarely does a couple wake up on a beautiful day and look at each other and say, hey, let's go down and pick our caskets out. That's not what happens. So what we do is we tell them, hey, get the money put away now. If you want to go to a funeral home later and pick stuff out, I'm sure that they'll be happy to take an assignment of your policy at some time in the future. But for now, let's just get the money put away. It's a great income opportunity for you as the agent. Again, the trusts are free. There's no fees. And I told you, I've been doing this 13 years. I've never ran across another professional offering this to our clients. The funds are totally portable to any funeral home provider. We're dealing with a great company. You're going to give your client that peace of mind. And again, 2 pieces of paper and your state replacement form, and you've completed the application. The other thing you will like about that is once you've completed your app, if it's in good order, if I were to write a cash app today, send it into National Guardian Life, by Tuesday, my commissions are going to be in my account. So once they get it, they don't monkey around, they get it issued for you. And if you don't talk to them about it, your clients, I got news for you. There is a possibility that someone else will in the future, because we're getting the message out about this product, and we've got a lot of agents who are licensed across the country now that are offering this to their clients. So we'll talk about the compensation. I use this analogy. I think this is a low number, but if you just had 2 couples a month that wanted to do $10,000 per spouse into a plan, and you only worked 10 months out of the year, you're going to generate about $40,000 to your bottom line. We've always looked at it in our business. When we started out, we wanted to make sure we could cover all of our office expenses and our help. So our goal was to write enough NGL on a monthly basis to make sure our office expenses were covered and our help. And we've been able to do that. So it's a nice, is it the product that you're going to only sell and it's going to make you successful over your insurance career? Probably not. Is it a great ancillary product to add another income leg to your stool? It certainly is, and it can be done pretty easily. But some of the biggest challenges, well, we're going to go to the commission screen. How convenient. If you look up in that left corner where it says face amount 0 to 60,000, you will see on there, if you go down to, let's say, age 61 to 70 in that grouping, it's 13.31% commission, 61 to 65, and 11% on 66 to 70. So Wendell, that works for me, went out last night. I think the lady was 70 on the button, but he went out last night, and he made $1,100 for helping a client. That's a good commission, especially in the environment we're living in today with DOL and annuities and what's going on out there. So again, a great opportunity to earn a nice commission while you're doing a good job for your client as well. So National Guardian Life also has an annual sales conference. This is where it's at this year. I can tell you, I've been on their sales conference. Everything they do is absolutely first class. So if you can get up to speed, we're only going into July. We've still got another half a year left. There's nothing to say that you can't qualify for it. So some of the biggest challenges, obviously getting comfortable with the concept, remembering your clients believe that pre-planning is a good idea. I told you my first annuity I wrote back in 1993. It was a $25,000 annuity in a dry cleaner in Marion, Ohio. I'll be honest with you, I probably didn't even really know fully what I was doing. But here we are in 2017. I consider myself an expert in the annuity arena. It's not because I'm the smartest guy in the world. It's because it's repetition, and that's what I do on a daily basis. So if you can learn how to present this and you can keep it on the top of your mind with every client every day, you will become very good at presenting this, and you will be amazed at how much business you'll pick up with National Guardian Life. So what we did in my business about 6 years ago now, and I could be off on that number a little bit, but we developed a guide for beneficiaries. The reason we did this is we had a client pass away. The daughter called me. I said, hey, let's get an appointment because I knew there was a lot of money to work with the daughter. She said, oh, don't worry about it. We've already talked to the bank. We're going in to see them. And we lost that entire deal and the client had been a client of ours for a while. So I decided I was going to put something in place that would give me a shot that when my clients passed away, the first person that they called would be Inting Financial Services. So we put this beneficiary guide together. And once you're licensed with National Guardian Life, they will make it available to you through IAMS, Insurance Agency Marketing Services. But what happens with the guide is once you get this guide put together, then you can go out and you can do reviews with your clients and give them the guide. And what the guide does is it tells their beneficiaries exactly what they need to do when someone passes away. So it gives them a roadmap to be able to help start settling their estate. But what we used it for when we started implementing it is we wanted to collect all the client's data and get it up to date. So we had an organizer. We went out to every client. We went back through all of their finances, and I will tell you what I learned through this process. What I learned through the process is people don't tell you everything. Even if you think you're the best advisor and you have the best relationship, what we did is we went out, we started implementing these plans into the client's home, and they started telling us about all their assets. And what ended up happening is we ended up picking up another $1.5 million in annuity premium, about $200,000 in traditional single premium life, and a little over $150,000 in National Guardian Life. Because we found people don't tell us everything. And these were clients that we already had annuities in the home with. So we perfected it, and we found out that practice makes perfect. So we just kept going out and doing it, and that's what led to our successes with it. So if you take a look at the guide itself, I told you I want them calling us first. So the front of that guide says, a guide for my beneficiaries for help settling my estate. Please call my advisor at Inting Financial Services. It doesn't say please call my banker. We want to make sure that business is running through us. We've had probably 5, 6, or 7 of the kids who have called us directly off of this guide that they went in their parents' home. The guide was there. They called us, and we ended up working with them and doing some additional annuities and planning with the children. So again, this can be made available to you once that you're licensed through IAMS for National Guardian Life. And then what happens is this is kind of a look at the organizer that we use. So we get a little more detailed on the organizer, even down to ask them if they're expecting to receive an inheritance. Because that's important information for you as the advisor. But as you see, as we go through the pages, we really went into all the financial information with them again. And our pitch to them, to our clients, is this. If we do this for you and we get all of your financial information up to date and we put it with your organizer, if something were to happen to you, your kids not only have a roadmap of what to do, but they have an up-to-date organizer on what your values are and where your money is. And every client was very appreciative. They loved what we did. They loved the booklet. But you can see question 8 there on this page is, have you prepaid your funeral? And, when the client told us yes or no, that's how we ended up going back out and picking up the $150,000 for National Guardian Life, whether it was through old life insurance policies or just cash to prepay their funerals. So this is made available to you too. You can probably tell I love what I do. This has been a very good program for us and our company. If you have any questions for me, you can certainly type them in there to Mark. I'd be happy to answer them for you. And Mark, I'll let you go from there.
Great, John. Thank you so much. So I just put up here real quick, if you're interested in getting appointed National Guardian Life, we can simplify this. I will email that over to you, and all you need to do is just complete that. You can fax it or email it over to me, and we'll get you all set up there. So first question comes from Jim. He says, are there any goods and services costs? Also, any DOL forms required? I know you've pretty much addressed that.
There are no DOL things going on right now. The goods and service contracts, there's 4 states, and I don't want to say them off the top of my mind. Ohio's not a goods and services contract state, but I believe Iowa is, and maybe Tennessee. Well, we can confirm that. There's 4 of them. Anyhow, what that means is that they don't want you just trying to hide a bunch of money to avoid Medicaid spend down. So they will ask you to get a goods and services contract from a funeral director that will list what you're putting the money away for, the cost of the casket, the funeral, whatever is included in there. We can provide you, I've just recently come across this, there's a gentleman that actually, I think he charges $80, and you can get a goods and services contract done for your client through this organization, and we can certainly provide that information to you.
Okay, good. We just had a question. Someone came in a bit late. Want to know if it's recorded? Yes, it is. So I'll be emailing that out to you here after we get this all set up. One thing that we've seen too, John mentioned places to find money, is a 10% free withdrawal off of an annuity is a nice place to get it too. It really doesn't cost me anything, just moving it over from one pocket to the next. So keep that in mind. Question box is open. The poll question is up. Looks like about half of you have voted in on that, or I should say weighed in that you want to be appointed. So if you decide that you want to get on board, understand that I will be calling you after the webinar here to see if you have any questions. If you want to get set up, we can get you marketing pieces. There is a PowerPoint presentation that you can use as well. So we want to do whatever we can to obviously help you, to help your clients, which in the end, obviously you get paid for that. So we're all in this together. And John, looks like the question box is empty. So I think at this point, we can go ahead and wrap this up. I will, again, email this over to you, followed with a phone call. John, I know you're a busy man. I certainly do appreciate you taking time to help us with this morning.
Thanks for having me, Mark, and thank you for all of you that took your time out this morning to listen to me, and hopefully we can get you on the right track and get you to get National Guardian Life into your portfolios.
Sounds great. You all have a great Father's Day weekend, and we'll be in touch with you shortly. Thank you much.
Yeah.